All right, guys, last but not least, we have our question, our hypothesis, and the summary of experiment. So first off, we'll go to the question, which is super simple to fill in now that we've identified our variables, right? Our independent variable is going to go right here. How does the independent variable affect the dependent variable? So in this case, our independent variable was the mass of the marble. So how does the mass of the marble affect, what are we measuring at the end? The average speed of that marble. So how does the mass of the marble affect the average speed of the marble after a collision? All right, so if we think about this real quick, we've essentially got three scenarios. We've got a small marble, we've got a medium marble, and we've got a large marble. And all those marbles are going to get crashed into by a medium marble. So if the medium marble crashes into the small marble, what do you think is going to happen? How is that going to be different if the medium marble crashed into another medium marble? Or if it crashed into a very large marble? All right, you could also think about this in a different context. You could think about if we have a car, all right, and that car is crashing into a truck, all right? Versus if that car, same car, was crashing into a person on a motorcycle or a bike. Okay? What would be different about the motion of the truck versus the motion of the bike? How would they move differently after they got hit by that car? And you could also think about a car hitting another car. It's probably going to move a little bit differently than if you're hitting a truck, and it's going to move differently than if you're hitting a guy on a bike or something like that, right? The guy on the bike, he's probably going to be worse off than the guy in the truck or the guy in the car. And there are some reasons why, okay? You're going to come up with some of those reasons when you do a little literature review tomorrow before you begin. But for right now, we're just going to make a hypothesis. We're going to identify what we think might happen. So, if we write down if the mass of the marble is greater, right, if we have a bigger marble, then the speed of that marble after a collision will be, and will it be greater? Will it be less than? Will it be slower? Will it be faster? That's what you're telling me, right? If we have a bigger marble, we got a larger mass, is the speed of that marble going to be bigger? Is it going to be slower? Okay? So you're going to come up with your hypothesis. And once you've done all that, you're going to go on down to the summary of experiment, where you're going to explain the answers to these questions, right? You're going to tell me what you're testing, how you're going to test it. You're going to summarize basically what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. So how are you going to know if your hypothesis was correct? What data would you expect to find if your hypothesis was proven correct? And if your hypothesis was not proven, what data would you see? Okay, so this is very conversational. Just try to explain as much as you can. Show me that you understand the inner workings of what's going on in this experiment, okay? And at the end of class today, you should have a summary. You should have both procedures written. You should have your variables, independent and dependent. You should have a hypothesis, and you should have a question. We are going to do the literature review tomorrow before we begin, and we are going to fill in this data table tomorrow. All right, so be ready. I'll see you then.